We're back. Oh, yeah. We got a special one. I changed my lighting setup. Do you like it or not? I'm not sure. I got my interview on Friday and trying to work on a few things if I like it or not. But don't you worry. We'll get back to that later in a few days. Got Jelly Rancher in the mouth, got some agua, and 4 or 5 pages of notes that I made while I was at this crazy city council meeting. So let me just break it down from how we got here. The budget is being introduced. Well, it was introduced on Monday, and there was some drama going on since last month. In case you have been living under a rock, this guy, Thomas Cook, who was Hogshead #2 guy, I think he was like, I don't know if he was deputy mayor or just in charge of his political team, but apparently he was banging a couple of the interns. And as everybody knows, it's not a good idea. It's even worse when you're married and have a kid and you're cheating on your wife with these twos and threes. Very sad story. Sexual harassment. One of the ladies called him a groomer, which is fitting because that's what Democrats are all about anyway. Hey, we have been told many times that Democrats are not groomers, but then we have this 30-year-old that's trying to groom some 20-year-old. No surprise. So I knew this was happening, and I got there early. The meeting normally starts at. I got like me because I was testing it out. All right, don't worry, I'll get that fixed. And if the meeting starts at 7, I got there at 6:15 ish. The whole room was already filled up. I thought it was gonna be standing room only, but then there's so many police there in like full gear too that they weren't allowing anybody to stand. They had to go into another room where they could watch it. And but there was a small group of pro-Palestine people that were allowed to go against the wall. But I was able to get a seat. It was awesome. Good for me. That's why you got to get there early, man. So then a little bit later, the two women that were accusing Thomas Cook showed up, and it was you could tell it was totally organized. You had Hogsett, who ended up showing up, obviously, not long afterwards. He sat in one row or one column, and then the two other ladies they sat in the other one, and it was almost I don't know what 10, 15 feet away, but it was perfect view for the photographers. The whole thing was planned. It was organized. We all knew it. So I saw Brianne Delaney, Nick Roberts, and Dan Boots. They talked to the two ladies about it. I don't know about whatever. Gave them hugs. Probably telling them I'm sorry that that there's a whole bunch of degeneracy happening inside of the office, like a lot of crazy things do. But then we were late. This is probably the latest that's ever actually started. It started at 7:25. Awful. So we did the prayer from Ron Gibson and then the Pledge of Allegiance. And then pretty much immediately we started off with Hogsett. And let me pull up this video real quick because the action happened pretty quick.
Every single person who serves this community will know their rights, their protections.
So let me just paint the picture here. This is Dan Parker. He's probably going to be running for mayor. This is IMPD Chief Chris Bailey. I know these two are directors for something. I forget which one. And this shoddy right here, I don't know who that is, but they were talking to somebody that works in the Hogsett administration.
Their reporting obligations, and what to do if they are one day victimized by this unacceptable behavior.
Our taxes paid to assault these women. They're paying for Israelis to assault people in Israel. This is bullshit. I don't want my taxes spent to assault women. I don't want to assault people in Israel. Quit spending my money like this. I pay taxes, you spend it like this. You piece of shit.
So I'm like over here, somewhere over here. I don't even know if you could tell. I was sitting next to somebody that had a white shirt on, and obviously, look at this group over here. This guy starts clapping.
Mayor, no.
So automatically, Vop gets up on the microphone and tells everybody to chill out. And if anybody starts making a ruckus again, you're going to get kicked out, which that has pretty much been the rules since I have been going to the city county meetings. It is not open for like an open debate. It is just talking about whatever the issue is at hand, whatever proposal, yada yada. It's probably for like filibustering stuff or just things getting out of hand. But moving on. McCormick was late, obviously, because she's the worst. And there was actually the first time I saw somebody there that was doing sign language. Never seen it before. It probably because of Hogset talking about the budget and everybody that was there. You had Jesse Brown. He had like this weird red sign that was, I don't know, folded up like construction paper, and he had his little pro-Palestine sippy cup there too. I can smell him all the way from the back row, and he looked like shit. Like he was either on ketamine or he was trying to detox, but it looked like somebody had like ass handled him for sure. He looked demoralized. It was very funny. And if you're watching this, Jesse Brown, you're still a piece of shit, and you're like one of the worst people ever. But I'll show you in a little bit that Vop Osili totally bitch smacked him and told him to chill the fuck out. It was great. But this is where the weird part was. You see all these green shirts? Well, you might be missing up where there were also orange shirts back here too. There was this union, there was, oh yeah, there it was, the 2017. So this is, I don't know, yeah, you can see it on here. This is Lauren Roberts, I think. This is one of the ladies that was accusing Thomas Cook. So this is where she was, and Hogsett was sitting like right here. You could tell the whole thing was planned. And so when I got there, I was surprised of how many people were there, and I was trying to figure out all the groups. So this is one local group, and then there was an orange shirt group. Um, that was another union group. No, I think this was Local 313, and then there was another union group in green, orange shirts, and then there was some peacekeepers, I think, and another set of orange shirts. And every time he paused, like where he was expecting an applause, they were clapping. So I think what had happened was that they knew that you're going to have free Palestine people. You're going to have some disturbers like the guy that got kicked out of there, that was going to be flooding the whole area and just having a whole city council meeting as a giant ruckus. Well, they didn't want that to happen. So they brought in the unions to not only clog up the city council so there's no ruckus, which is a really good plan, but also you had them clapping for Hogsett every chance that they got. And I'll have the link to watch the meeting. Very entertaining. You will love it. It's 2 hours, but you will love it. So after Hogsett got done, they started the whole city council meeting, and they had voted on suspending the rules so they can bring in more proposals or a motion or a resolution. So one of the motions was to open up an investigation into the mayor's office pertaining to Thomas Cook. So let's just play this.
It says resolution forming a committee to investigate the allegations against the mayor's office concerning the conduct of former chief of staff Thomas Cook.
Thank you.
Okay, so now Alan is the new city councilor. She ended up voting yes. Evans ended up voting yes. But look at the three people that did not vote yes. You had Allie Brown, who is the vice president. You had Ron Gibson, who is a huge Hogsett shill. And you had Jessica McCormick, my city councilor. Jessica, whatever, Fiona McCormick, my city councilor, and who is also running for Senate, voted no to do an investigation on Joe Hogsett. How wild is that? And then when they were asked about it, Allie Brown and McCormick both said, it's like, well, I think it should be expanded on. Yeah, but this just begins the motion of it. You could always change it later. So you could tell who is on Team Hogset. Allie Brown, Ron Gibson, and Jessica McCormick, Fiona McCormick. They don't care about this whole sexual harassment there. They only care about protecting Hogset. Very interesting stuff. We're actually going to just go to my Twitter. Make sure you give me a follow at Woody Reviews. And the worst part of all of this, there was no Larry Vaughn. Which is like, man, this would have been the perfect time for Larry Vaughn to be here. Okay, so this was one of the wheelchair people. There were two of them. This is very important because we'll talk about that in a second. So when they open up public comment, so just to backtrack a little bit, Hogset gets done, Union people leave, Palestine people come in. Then the room started smelling, obviously. No joke either. No joke. Last time this group came in there, I was surrounded by them, and I felt like I was around this ass clown right here, Jesse Brown, all over again. Just smelled like onions and BO and daddy problems. So, the very first one, this wheelchair guy just came in.
Yeah, as a resident of Indianapolis, I am encouraged by federal funds being used for things like libraries and schools. I am not encouraged by federal funds used for things like genocide in far-off countries, things like bombing.
Point of order.
Bombing children.
Point of order,
Point of
Mr.
order,
President.
Mr. Chairman. This is not germane to our conversation right now.
Sir.
I would ask to turn the microphone off
please.
and have him leave.
All right.
I would ask to be
Sheriffs.
escorted out of the chamber.
Okay, did you hear what he just said? Have him escorted out of the chamber. This is going to be important. Pay attention to that.
Mr. Sheriff, anyone who is making noise at this point in time, please have them removed now.
So this was the very first person that did the public comment. Very well coordinated, honestly. It was a good idea by the pro-Palestine people to bring a wheelchair person in there, and because what are you going to do with them? I mean, your best bet is to put a pallet jack underneath them and try and get them out of the room. But we both know that is not happening. It would be a PR nightmare for sure. So obviously I'm back here still watching everything. It was so damn funny. So this is also former Councilor Ethan Evans. We'll talk about him here in a second. Okay, so right after that guy got removed, former Councilor Ethan Evans shows up.
President Osili, if I may.
Former Councilor Evans, this will need to be specifically on the proposal at hand, or we will shut down the microphone and we will go to a vote.
Can it be germane on public comments themselves?
Sir, it will be specific to proposal number 209.
So if you look in here in the background too, this is one of the sheriffs that I was overhearing some of the pro-Palestine people that the sheriffs were telling them that their signs can only be so big. I'm not exactly sure why. Don't really care. But you could see that they were telling them, was like, you got to put it down. It's too big.
Okay. Proposal 209 on the public funding of the Municipal County Public Library, correct? $6.3 million in the bond funding?
6.35.
Okay, yes.
Give them credit, though. Hey, give them credit on the sewing job. They put the Indianapolis flag and the pro-Palestine flag on there. Looks like a pretty good seam. Good job by them.
Yes. See, I read. I am in favor of funding our public county libraries, and they are a very valuable source of public information for which you can find information in books on ceasefires and genocides where...
Point of order.
Point of order.
Point of
In the
order.
county library. In the county
Please have him
library.
escorted out.
In the county library.
Former Councilor Evans.
Please have the counselor escorted out.
No. Former Councilor Evans.
Former counselor.
Former Councilor Evans.
They were really throwing that dig on her. It's like, former counselor, because for those who don't know, Ethan Evans used to be a Democrat, and he's a very far left Democrat too. And he said that his party was not left enough, so he's going to go independent, which I honestly gives a bad name to independents.
You either stick to the point.
I was here in 2020 through 2024, as you know, and in 2020, we went through an unprecedented pandemic and COVID-19. And at the time, we changed the rules on comments in a way that this council had never done before to allow
Councilor
online
Evans,
comments.
is this related to 209? I think you're running out
It's
of
related
time.
to the comments themselves. It's related to the rules.
Sir, 209.
About the library,
We're done.
Ethan.
Okay.
Ah,
I guess I'm done. That's all I had to say. Joe must go. Thank you. President Osili.
So very funny. There were a couple of ones, so I'm just giving the highlights of what was going on here too. Let's see. So I believe it was this one.
Let's proceed to the vote.
So there's so much ruckus going on that they just wanted to try and get through this whole thing, but guess what? Not in this time. And by the way, Democrats, these are your peeps right now. These are your voters. This is who is representing you. This is who you represent. Is this kind of anarchy that you can't even finish a city council meeting if what should have been like an hour to an hour and 20 minutes turned into 2 hours?
I don't need the mic because I think my voice is loud enough. Good afternoon. My name is Russell.
Wasn't he escorted out already?
So Brian Mowry wasn't paying attention of the wheelchair people. He thought that this was the same person, which is pretty damn funny, but also kind of sad.
Why not?
And the people next to me, they were all laughing too. It's like, oh, what are we all the same?
Yeah, y'all can't even like whatever. You know what? If we're going to talk about the library, if we're going to talk about public funds and stop funding genocide, stop giving
All right,
money
now
to
we can
Israel,
escort him out.
Here it is.
Stop funding genocide! I said police, officer, put your hands on me. Do not put your hands on me. Sir, you need to go. Do
Time
not,
to leave.
Do not go. I just said police. You're out of order.
Point of order, Mr. Chair.
You need to go.
So that was Jesse Brown who just said that point of order.
You back. You need to go.
Point of order, Mr.
No,
Chair.
you don't get to touch me.
All right,
Let's
so
proceed to the
then we fold. So there's a continuation of that, and this is where the most important part of I think this entire meeting.
Councilor, you have a comment you want to make?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. President, under the First Amendment, the council may not restrict public comments on the basis of their content. It's not up to us to decide whether or not something is relevant.
Then we'll
It
have
has
to
to be
take that to OCC or to the courts. You will not disrupt a meeting in this room.
Do I not have
You
permission to
will
speak?
not,
I ask for
no one
recognition.
will disrupt a meeting in this room.
This is undemocratic.
And there it is, folks. Jesse just sealed his fate with that. If he doesn't get kicked out of the caucus for this little stunt, he's never going to get kicked out of it. And this is for you, Jesse Brown. This whole group of dipshits, take it outside, okay? Or go move to Palestine and help them out. And this goes for anybody that's this pro-foreign war bullshit. Like, we have so many problems in Indianapolis, especially for Jesse, who lives on the east side, like the biggest dystopian shitholes there are in Indianapolis. And he's worried about what's going on in a different country. Listen, I'm worried about what's going on in my own backyard. I don't care what's going on over there. Let's watch that one more time.
Councilor, you have a comment you want to make?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. President, under the First Amendment, the council may not restrict public comments on the basis of their content. It's not up to us to decide whether or not something is relevant.
Then we'll
It
have
has
to
to
take
be.
that to OCC or to the courts. You will not disrupt a meeting in this room.
Do I not have permission
You
to
will
speak?
not,
I ask for
no one
recognition.
will disrupt a meeting.
Look at that. Look at the finger pointing too. No one will disrupt a meeting in this room. And listen, I'm not even a pro Vop guy, but I have seen this guy in action plenty of times. He controls the room. He has that kind of energy. He's like, we're not fucking doing this, son.
A meeting in this room.
Listen, I know you didn't have a dad, but I'm your daddy right now. So anyway, continuing on, that was kind of like the highlights of this whole thing. They want to spend $7 million on an archery park at Eagle Creek. They're probably going to be using taxpayer money to fund apartments for homeless people. Each counselor is getting $1 million, which I thought this whole thing was mighty fascinating, and I know what they're up to. So each counselor, all 25 counselors, will have $1 million to do a project in their district. But it's only one project. You can't float it around like 15 different projects. You just don't get $1 million. You can float it all over. It's one project for a max of $1 million. And I already know that they're going to have a hard time. It's either going to be way above $1 million or way below $1 million. And there are not enough committed councilmen and councilwomen, especially Fiona McCormick, who gives a damn about this district, to actually find a useful way to use that money. My guess is what they're going to do is that Jared Evans, as we call him, Jobless Jared, the 40-year-old that lives with his parents and has no full-time job, home wrecker Krista Carlino and Fiona McCormick are all going to team together, and they're going to use $3 million to try and fund some kind of West Side project. Probably something dumb, probably something to do by Ben Davis, probably something that is not going to make taxpayers very happy, which I will not be surprised upon. But when all these pro-Palestine people were around there, Jesse was just clapping. He's just clapping the whole time. It's just like, this guy is encouraging this kind of ruckus right now, and you're telling me that you're not going to kick him out of the caucus? Such a shame, total disrespect by Jesse Brown for the city councilors, the room, and the people that are in that room. I think that was about it, though. There are a couple of amendments that Josh Bain and Michael Paul Hart tried doing that I think one might have went through. One was for the SR short-term rental, where there wasn't going to be a fee. I kind of knew that wasn't going to happen. And then another one was for something else that wasn't that big of a deal that was probably going to get passed anyway. But there was the administrative meeting today. I'm going to do that video right after this, and then I will post it tomorrow. There was also the public safety meeting today, and I don't know how long that one was. I checked the agenda. It was just having somebody confirming somebody to be part of a board. Might be lame. Who knows? Also, I will be having an interview podcast on Friday. I'm not sure when it'll drop. I'll let you know. Should be a lot of fun, though. I'm hoping that we're going to work on getting a debate between me, Moet, and Mark. I would rather have a debate instead of a town forum, because Justin Moet, he has a lot of answering to do. We'll see. We have like 80 days until the election. We should be fine. But until next time.